Have you been thinking about moving abroad, but you don't know where to start from? You watch so many videos, but the thing is, where do you even start from? This video is going to help you, give you a bit of closure towards where to begin your journey. I personally knew I was going to travel from when I was about 9 years old. I didn't know where, I didn't know how, I didn't know anybody that was close to me that was abroad, but I knew I was going to travel. So the first thing I did once I finished my nursing school was to get an international passport. I did it intentionally so that opportunity when it comes will meet me being prepared. There's not going to be any excuse that, there was an opportunity, but because of, Nigerian factor waiting for months and years, so your passport is not ready, so you've missed it. So that was what I did. This video is going to help you to know where to start from. When you begin to decide on moving abroad, the first thing I always advise, and I'll please beg you to make sure you do, is research. Research. I want you to please go research what country you want to move to. And don't just go based on everybody is going to that country or visa is becoming easy in that country. Research and choose a country based on the fact that it suits your long-term goal. Not necessarily suiting 100% your long-term goal, because some people say moving abroad. For instance, when I moved to Dubai, the day I got to Dubai, although I didn't do much of my research, I didn't do loads of research. I didn't know anybody who was actually in Dubai at the time and was creating content. That was about almost 9 years ago. I didn't know anybody in Dubai as much to give me informed decision going as a Nigerian, not as somebody who has got a first world country passport. So I went to Dubai. Let me say I went blindly. Okay. But the first day I got to Dubai, I knew I was not going to be in Dubai. I knew this was not for me. The first day from the airport, it was beautiful, but I knew it was not for me. But what I then discovered is I knew that moving to Dubai was a stepping stone for me achieving the other countries or the other country that I will want to move to in the future. So you can move to a country in the hope that it is a stepping stone to the actual country you really want to go. Now, you have to do your research. You want to research what route you're going to go with. And that will be dependent on, are you single? Have you got family? Have you got children? Have you got the money? Have you got the resources? At the end of that visa you're going to go with, what is the end result? You're not just going as a student. After being a student, what is going to happen? Is there a clear pathway for you once you finish the first set of, say you've gotten the study visa? What is going to happen after the study visa is finished? Don't just be one of those people that be like, oh, others are surviving, I will survive. Because you may go there and you may not survive. So you want to do your research. You want to check what country you want to go. Check the exchange rate. Check the cost of living. Is it worth it? Is it worth leaving your job for? Is it worth living your life for? Is it worth, starting afresh for? Does it suit your family, your children? If you're aiming towards citizenship, are they going to give you citizenship in that country? How long before they give you citizenship? How old are you before you retire? Is that country going to be of benefit to you? That is the first and most important thing that I want you to start your process with. You want to think about the language. Do they speak English? Do they speak the language you understand? Do you think you need to learn some form of communication before you decide to pack your bag and move to that country? You want to check racism, you want to check the economy, you want to check so many things. And then you're thinking about the administrative implications, like your visa processes, how long it's gonna take. Do you need to start your visa process now and just keep doing your job and just act and pray that whenever it comes, so you're not under tension? You want to look about what if it's school, what is the school fees? Are you going to be able to afford it? Please don't just be one of those people that be like, I don't care, as long as I'm out of this country, when I get there, I'm going to survive. That is why you see so many people are regretting moving abroad these days. That's why you see so many people are actually considering to jackpot that, because that initial expectation is not what you see, including me. When I moved to the UK, my initial expectation was not what I met. Although it was not as bad, but it was like, wow, reality check. Okay, so please do your research. Do your research. What is the financial implication? Are you coming to work? Even though you're coming to work, for instance, I came to this country, to the UK, on a work visa, yeah? But when I came, the first 30 days, obviously, I was not gonna get paid, because you get paid after your work. You're not going to get paid, say you're starting a job on the 1st of March. You're not going to get paid on the 1st of March. You're going to get paid on the 31st of March. So you have to put into consideration how you're going to survive for the 30 days before you get your first salary. And once your salary comes, so your salary does not, like when I came, I remember my salary actually met debt. Because at the time I was living in the hotels, I was living in B&Bs. It got to a point my employer said, look, we're done with financing you. Even though they said they were going to deduct it from my salary, they stopped, I think when I was about 6 weeks in, and I was in hotels and B&Bs for like 2 months. So I had to start fending for myself. I was sending back home for them to send money to me. Do you have backup for somebody to finance you? Are you thinking about what if you don't get accommodation? I know people who have been stranded in this country. I know somebody who was in the hotel for months with her children because they couldn't find accommodation. Do you have the financial budget for that? Do you have the financial backup for emergencies? God forbid you become unwell, something happens. Transportation before you get paid, feeding before you get paid, accommodation. Where are you going? Even if you have somebody in that country that's going to accommodate you, for how long will they accommodate you for? Are you considering actually even giving them $10, $20 to say, look, this is my contribution for you helping me to stay with you? You have to consider the financial implication, the flight, the visa fee, the feeding fee. Are you coming with your children? Are you just coming alone to hustle first before you bring family? And once you're here, you know how much it's going to cost you. Is a lot of financial implication. Is a lot, because sometimes when I hear how much people pay, I'm like, wait, how do you guys manage to have this money? So it's a lot of money. In fact, I used to say, I don't think broke people can travel abroad, because if you're broke, you're not even going to have money for your flight, except the employer is going to pay your flight for you. Okay? You need money. You need money. You need money. You need money. I shall never be poor. I shall never be poor. Once you've sorted your accommodation, then you're talking about how you're going to start packing your things. Like I said, the route in which you come into a country is extremely important, and the route in which you come to a country will determine how you're going to settle, when you're going to settle, and how easy or difficult life is going to be for you. For instance, if you're coming on a study visa to a country, you can only work certain hours, certain days, certain period. Will you have enough money to finance yourself? And once you travel, the black tax. People back home feels you're already abroad, you're financially enough. They begin to request. Nobody wants to help you anymore. You're now becoming somebody's helper. You're becoming somebody's role model. People are already looking up to you. So it changes. Things switches really quickly. The day you leave Nigeria or you leave your country is the day that things switches. They don't wait until you settle. Nothing waits for you. The world continues, because you're going into a system that is already functioning, a system that is already working, a system that is already self-sustainable without you. It is you who is trying to fit into that system. So you have to sacrifice things, your time, your comfort, your pleasure. Then you're now packing. Look at the airline you're coming with. Okay, say you've booked your flight. You want to make sure what airline are you coming with. And I want you, during your research, to also research what weather are you coming to that country in. If you're coming to, say, you're going to Canada and you're going to a country where it is extremely cold, it is unimaginable when somebody tells you, look, these countries are cold. You cannot imagine it. It was the same for me when I came to the UK. They're like, oh, the UK is cold. I'm like, how cold can it be? And when I got to the airport, I remember I came in May. And I was thinking, May should be towards summer in the UK, yeah? I was thinking, wait, when I got to the car park, I'm like, did they on AC in this car park? Because I'm coming from Dubai, that is about almost 40 degrees, 50 degrees, to a country where, even at the time, I think it was just 2-3 degrees, but it was like freezing cold. I remember in summer, I will have my jacket, my hair. No, I'm better, but you want to research what weather are you going into that country in? Like, are you going in summer? Are you going in winter? You don't want to turn up at the airport with your summer clothes when it is freezing outside. Okay, that will determine what type of clothes you're going to go with. With that, it will help you to transition into the next weather. So the most important thing to you at the time is knowing what weather you're going to go to that country in, and that will determine what the important clothes you need to get at the time, because by the time it's getting to the other weather, hopefully you are beginning to adjust. And some countries will tell you, no, there's no clothes. I've heard Canada they don't have good, maybe, I mean, I'm not a fashionista, they don't have high sense of fashion, so if you're coming, come with your clothes. Unlike the UK, I would say if you want to come to the UK, you really don't need to bring your Nigeria clothes, because most of the clothes you're going to have is going to be clothes that fits, summer. I may not fit the winter period in the UK. You're going to get cheap clothes. You're going to get cheap from, say, Vinted, from Shein, from if you like designers, you're going to get. So the important thing for you if you're moving to, say, in the UK may be food, but whereas if you're moving to Canada, the important thing for you may be cloth, you see, because I know they get good African food depending on where you're staying. So you want to research these things and know what you need to pack, because that will determine how many kilos you're going to get. You don't want to have over luggage. And I always advise, if you're traveling for the first time, go with somebody that can go to the airport with you if possible, so that whatever is remaining, you don't leave it for the airport officials. This person can take it back home. And if you must, please make sure you only take the things that are allowed. Don't put liquid in your hand luggage. Those things are just general rules of traveling. Those are important things that you want to consider, so you don't get to the airport and then somebody is delaying you hours before your flight. And when you get to the airport, please make sure you go on time. In Nigeria, 2, 3, 4 hours. I'm not even exaggerating. 2, 3, 4 hours before your flight. Other countries, it may be 1 hour or 2 hours before you get to your gate. But please, if you're in Nigeria or what, I don't know what other country I can say, make sure you go on time. Make sure you go on time. You don't want to be traveling abroad for the first time and then you miss your flight. Another thing I want you to also consider is notifying the important authorities. For instance, your workplace. I do not subscribe to people who just resign in the hope that their visa will go through. I left Nigeria when I was on annual leave. I had 1 month annual leave. I took my bag. I wrote my resignation letter. I gave it to my husband. I told him, look, if I get my job and I settle in, please go and submit this resignation letter for me. And my husband, when he was leaving Nigeria, did the same, gave his friend his resignation letter. He was on annual leave, took his 1 month annual leave, traveled abroad. At least you will go and see now, yeah? If it's good, if it's not good, you know that you can quickly run back within that 1 month. Okay, so please, I'm not saying you should always take annual leave. I'm just saying, make sure you plan. Remember to notify your bank, notify your employer, notify if you want to tell your religious group, your friends, your neighbor, you want to, put your house for sale, for rent, whatever you want to do. Make sure you plan, and please always have a backup plan. When we live in Nigeria, we did not sell our house. In case it wasn't working, we have a house to go back to. Okay, let some people know, so that if you need money, somebody can send money to you. Have a backup plan. Don't just put all your egg in one basket. Abroad is not heaven. Abroad is not a bed of roses. You're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. You're going to walk the way you've never walked in your life, except you're coming abroad as a big boy or as a big girl. But if you're coming like somebody like me, who is just down to earth, who knows nobody, who God is the only backbone, you're going to hustle before you settle. Hey, look at that rhyme. You're going to hustle before you settle. Prepare for the cultural transition. Prepare for the cultural shock. Prepare for the food shock, the language, everything. Even if you think you understand English already, except you're going to one of these other African countries. If you're going to any other, say, first world country, you're going to be shocked. Even though you think you understand English, you get here and you understand that you do not understand English. Okay? Prepare for all the cultural shock. Be ready to learn and unlearn all the way we shout, the way we talk about people's look, the way we address things back home does not work here. Ready to learn and unlearn. I'm not saying you should throw away your culture, but I'm saying be open to learn, because you're coming to somebody else's country. You have to learn. They say when you're in Rome, behave like the Roman. Okay, stay connected to your family. For instance, I always say I do not have any personal friend, but I have family. When you talk about my sister, we're on the phone, in fact, for hours every single day. Stay connected. Don't just be the one that travels abroad and become estranged. Don't be the one that travels abroad and think they're better than the whole world. When the life show you this shiggy, you want to have somebody that you can rely on. Emotional preparation. Be ready to love yourself, because abroad will try you. Be ready to be strong. Emotional connection, emotional preparation. Be ready. Don't just think you're coming abroad and the next day everything's gonna sup. Not lie. I personally have been, in fact, even in Dubai, I was trekking one day. The sole of my feet was boiling. In the UK, I was trekking one day, I was crying. I was going to look for food. I was crying on the streets in Scotland. Nobody cares. I was crying, my ear was so cold and my ear was doing crack, crack, crack. Okay, so those things will happen, but it is a phase. One thing I want to tell you is it does get better. I don't know when it's going to get better. I'm not going to say the first 1 month, the first 2 months, the first 3 months, the first 10 years, but it does get better. If you're resilient, God is with you, you're hardworking, you know, do pass yourself, it gets better. I hope this has helped you towards understanding what you should be ready for when you want to travel abroad. In case you're meeting me for the first time and you've watched to this extent, thank you so much. My name is Gloria Otika. I do things about travel, lifestyle. I just share things that may help you based on my own life experience. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe, click on the notification bell, and I'll see you in my next video. Other platforms that I am very active on. I'll see you later. Take care and God bless you. Don't mind my half nail.